Okay, the harbor freight set screw stripped. It's stripped. You know, you can see here, strip on this harbor freight screw. It also stripped this hole. The thread in this hole also stripped. So what I did was, I just used the smallest tab. I think it was this one, the tab, and then I just use this to this tab handle to grab onto this tab and then thread it in that hole. So I made the hole bigger, and then I found this one screw in my toolbox. This old screw, I don't even know how it was in there, but anyway, so this old screw was in there, and it happened has a flat screw head, so I was able to just, you know, screw this in, and it just so happened that bigger hole was able to hold. So now I'm using this. It's very easy to do the tabbing, but because I have this handle working again, so it's very easy to cut into this steel rod to make the 24 fine thread. But you know, I'm not making the same mistake again. Before, when I ran into this, I just continue to put pressure into the steel rod, eventually break the set screw. So this time if I can't turn anymore, I'm not going to force it. I'm actually going to pour oil into this, and then I'm going to turn backwards, you know, so to let the oil work its way down the thread, so it helps to cut into the new thread. You know, so I just, and then, you know, slowly I can cut into this. As you can see, it's almost 0.5 millimeter now. You know, before it's impossible with that locking plier. It's very difficult to apply pressure. But now I can put pressure, not only put pressure, but also continue to cut the thread into this 3/8 of an inch steel rod. So I'm going to put more, and then I'm going to turn back out, let the oil work its way into there. You know, you got to do this work very slowly until this thing can bite into it, because it's metal to metal, you know, and the set screw is not 100%. And if it breaks again, then I have to make it bigger again. So it's kind of a pain in the neck. So, you know, just do this slowly, you know, back a few turns, and go forward a few turns, and so that the oil can work its way into the steel rod, you know. And that's what I'm doing here. And also the burrow that lodge into the teeth, you need to clean them, otherwise it's very difficult to cut it again. So as you can see, so many wipe that clean. You know, you see, all that is preventing the teeth to bite further into this steel rod and cause binding, and eventually cause the set screw to fail. So that's my tips for this die and tap. You know, if you don't want to break your tool, you have to be patient. Do this just a little bit at a time, and then continue to put oil into it, and eventually you will get it. You know, so I learned from my mistake of the other one. I just used brute force. I didn't even apply oil. I did after about half an inch after I broke my set screw. You know, but now it's working again. So okay, so I got a lot more metal again, so I'm wiping them out. I also got some in here, so I'm going to use my toothbrush to brush it off. And remember, when you do this Harbor Freight thing, you want to press it down, and you want to make sure this side, the one that has no edge, face down, because basically this is not only this die tool, this round shaped tool, cutting tool, is not only set in place by this set screw, but also by the backing circle here, the outer circle here, to catch this inner cutting tool from popping out. You know, so like I said, do this slowly, and clockwise is, you know, as you are tightening the screw. So clockwise is cutting into the steel rod, and counterclockwise is backing out the steel rod. So here we go. I'm cutting into the steel rod again. Okay, so that's the whole process that's here. Apply downward pressure. Don't be afraid, because basically what I'm trying to do is create these deep growth so that the quick release can bite into these teeth and then lock the steel bar into position. So you can see here I cut about one centimeter now, or almost 1 centimeter into this steel rod with this cutting tab. And I'm gonna, I come to, hard stop. It's 1 centimeter now, so I'm gonna continue to turn a little bit more. You can see a lot of metal clock in there, so I'm gonna pour some oil, and then I'm going to back out from it. Here you go. I'm gonna back out from that, and then I'm gonna let the oil work its way down, and I'm gonna continue to cut into the steel rod, because the oil actually help. So when you back out, the other purpose of backing out is so that all the metal stuff in the middle, caught in the middle by the cutting tool teeth, can drop away and drop off. Otherwise, everything is clogged in there. It's going to break your set screw, and it's just not going to cut it. So you have to back out. Okay, I face some resistance again, so I'm going to back out again. Let the metal that I cut drop off, and then I'm gonna cut it into it again. Let the oil work its way into it. So far so good. You can see a lot of metal caught in those teeth. Just want to back off, let them fall away. You hear that? That's the metal in the middle that's falling away. Need to add some more. Probably need to get more oil now. Yeah, let me get more oil. And this is a bar and chain oil. It's nothing special. Not even the special cutting oil. Just the bar and chain oil that I have readily. Whoops, too much. But it's okay. So I'm going to continue to cut it in. Oh. Okay, once you feel the resistance, stop and back off. So don't be afraid. You know, and then cut back in. Because you basically back off so the metal burl can, the metal that you cut away from the steel rod can fall off. Okay, and you don't want them to be caught in there, because once they're caught in the teeth, it's going to be very difficult to that's why you got stuck. And if you use brutal force, you're just gonna break the machine, break the tool, you know, like I did the first time I broke this set screw. Anyway, I replaced the set screw with a stronger set screw, as you can see here, you know. So I think I'm almost done. Maybe a little bit more. The oil definitely helped, and then backing off certainly helped too, because as you can see, all the metal that I cut fall away when I back out. When I back out the metal, you know. So here we go. I'm taking it out again to clean all the metal caught in the teeth. Here you go. You can see so much of it. Same thing here. So much of it. You know. So let me tell you how to fix this Harbor Freight set screw. If your set screw is broken, okay, as you can see, it's stripped. So what you do is, you see this hole? What you do is you take the die, the next bigger die, the next set of die, or tab rather, this is tab, that's die, that circle thing in the middle, that's die. So you take that, and you take this middle piece, this is to create thread in the hole there. So all you have to do is you put this square thing in the middle of this handle here, and you just turn both sides, or actually the top side, as you can see, is squeezed down to this you know, to this square thing, as you can see here, and then continue to rotate this clockwise. That will lock this tab into position. And then what I did was I just, you know, take this out. Well, it's locked pretty tight. Just turn and turn and turn to create the thread again, a bigger thread. after you create a bigger thread, this set screw is not going to work. You have to go to your spare your toolbox to find a bigger screw, and this is the screw I was able to find. So now I was able to lock this um, die cutter in there. And remember, this is the same die cutter, but this side is actually capped or caught or capped by this backing plate. And as you can see here, I'm flipping this thing back and forth so you can see the difference. And this is the side you want to keep it on the top, and you press down so that this die cutter is not going to pop out, because if you just try to press down this way, this die cutter is going to pop out. But if you press down this way, the die cutter is going to be prevented from popping out by this outer rim. So that's how this die cutter handle is created. And as you can see, I continue to cut into this, and right now it's about 1 centimeter, and I already have a lot of metal cut away from the steel rod, and it is where is it? You need to back out once in a while and clean all that garbage or the metal. Otherwise, everything is squeezed in between the thread or the teeth, and you just continue to cut. That's going to ruin your die and tab cutter. That's going to ruin your die cutter or your set screw. You know. So that's my tip for you. If you're watching how to do the die cutting of steel rod, and this is how I learned from using this tool. So I'm going to continue to cut it into this steel rod, because I already have the thread. This is a 3/8 of an inch diameter steel rod, and I already created the fine thread at the 24 thread. So I'm going to continue to cut, because I need about 1 inch. So I need double this length of the thread to be cut away.